And staff at Liverpool John Moores University will down tools today. I feel like I shouldn't say tools. I feel like I should say down pens today in the first of 8 days of strike action in response to the university's enforcement of 50% wage deductions for staff taking part in the marking boycott. It's claimed that management at John Moores have started docking the pay of staff who are boycotting marking by 50%, despite the fact staff continue to teach, support, write references and provide pastoral care for students, as well as undertaking research and attending public events. Today's strike will hit a key university open day, which will see some staff rally outside Metropolitan Cathedral next to the university's John Foster building from 1 p.m. B. Hughes is UCU branch chair for Liverpool John Moores University. Joins us now. Good morning, B.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly. Hope you can hear me too.
Great. Yeah,
B, explain to us why this strike has been called.
Hi, so as I'm sure a number of your listeners are aware, we've been in dispute with our employers at a UK-wide level for a long time, actually. But over the last year, we've been on strike over our pay, which has degraded significantly over the last sort of 13 or so years, disgusting pay gaps across the sector, increasing workloads and casualisation. So we've been on strike days a number of times over the year, and we have started since April a marking and assessment boycott, which means that any of our members that have marking and assessment related work, which might be actually marking, it might be setting marks, it might be invigilating exams, or processing marks and doing admin work, stop doing that. So our employer has been playing hardball along with a handful of other institutions in the UK and have decided to dock 100% of our wages, but give us a 50% ex gratia payment if we continue to, quote, voluntarily undertake our other duties, which at first they wouldn't make pensionable. And we had to fight to make that 50% pensionable because it's not a gift. We aren't volunteering. We are doing our jobs. So our members are among a few branches that have decided that this is not good enough, that we don't accept, that we're not doing our jobs, and that 50% of our wages is not at all representative of the workload of marking we have. They are docking everybody from the same day, primarily, regardless of if they have 2 pieces of marking to do or 200 or more. You know, it's completely disproportionate and unfair. So we're on strike today. We'll be on strike in August. And if our employers don't come back to the table, we will be on strike in the first week of term in September.
I wonder if I can clarify to make it easier, because I always, as the person at this side of the microphone, I'm trying to ask the questions that I know people are shouting at the radio. So with you in industrial action, and we ourselves here within the BBC have had similar days. And, you know, when people take industrial action, they often go to a work to rule basis, which means you won't do anything outside of your job description and your hours and won't do anything extra. So is marking deemed to be something extra? Or if I was to apply for a job at the moment, would it have in the job description marking in there?
So that depends on your job. And the amount of work marking work you would have would also depend on what you've been allocated by your manager. So marking and assessment boycott is kind of the strongest form of action short of strike, which is what you were talking about with working to rule. We're also doing that. So we know that we're not fulfilling one part of our duties. However, we are still continuing to do the rest of our job, which is not insignificant. And, you know, it is much more than 50% of our workload. You know, our members got docked 50% of their workload for 8 days in April, and they will receive 50% of their pay for the whole of May, regardless of many of them working their full hours.
So who's marking the students' work at the moment, or is it just not being marked?
Well, we've got lots of quite worrying reports from across the university. So some non-UCU members have been doing some marking. In other places, we have, sessional people brought in, so people on short-term contracts that might work kind of on an ad hoc basis for the university. But in some places, we've had reports of people who we're really not convinced are qualified to be doing the marking. For example, recent MA graduates. In our academic rules, even PhD students are not supposed to do marking.
Right.
So it's quite worrying. And people who are not in the subject area and don't have the requisite expertise, even if they are, specialists in another area working for the university. And we've got reports of exam boards going through with lots of mistakes, and that's then had to be unravelled. So it's a real problem for academic standards that we're quite concerned about.
And what's the response from the university so far?
They have declined to meet with us this week or, in the run-up to our strike days. The only concession they've made is to actually make the payments pensionable, so they were not going to pay any pension contributions. They maintain that no changes in academic standards or the academic framework have been made. However, we've got reports and evidence that that is, a stretch of the truth, shall we say. And they're continuing as though nothing's wrong, putting an immense amount of stress on people who are taking industrial action and those who aren't, when they could, in fact, come and have a reasonable conversation with us, make the pay docking, proportionate to the action that's actually been taken, and publicly call for UCU, which is the employer's body, to come and solve our dispute. But they've declined to do that.
Of course, I don't think I said it right at the beginning. The industrial action, of course, is about an improved. You're looking for an improved offer in the ongoing pay and working conditions dispute. B, I'm not going to ask what day your wages hits your bank account, but this is going to make a huge difference to yours and your colleagues' lives. I mean, if my income of my family income was to be reduced by 50%, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, and many of our members are facing that. Right now, the cuts have a real effect on people, people's childcare abilities, ability to pay for childcare, rent, mortgages. And as well, we've got a lot of members who are nearing retirement who are worried that they're not going to be able to retire at the same time. It is really serious, but our members are really determined,
This is the first of 3 walkouts. When are the others?
So our next strike dates are set for the 17th and 18th of August, which is when A-level results come out and what's known as clearing in HE. And then the dates after that are, I've forgotten the exact date, but it's the first week of our induction in September.
Here we go, I've got it. If I scroll down, I've Monday the 18th, Tuesday 19th, Wednesday 20th, Thursday 21st and Friday 22nd of September.
Yes, that's the one.
So you've said that they're not prepared to sit down with you. I'm guessing that's what UCU are hoping for, though.
Yeah, we want, where branches are being forced into taking industrial action locally, we want our employers to sit down and really listen to what we're saying about, the proportion of our work that's being kind of missed and in relation to docking. And we want them to say publicly, not just to us in a private room, that, they'd like to pay us more, but to really join the ranks of the few universities who are, few but growing university bosses who are publicly calling on UCU, that's the Universities and Colleges Employers Association, to solve this dispute, sort out pay, stop holding things back, and to get around the table. We asked for a joint statement on this last summer and we were declined. So we're calling on our bosses to actually, do the right thing and make that joint statement with us now.
B, thank you so much for talking to us and explaining it to us. And it's one of those things when I speak to somebody about industrial action where I feel like I'll say I'll probably speak to you again, but there's another part of me not wanting to be rude saying I hope I don't. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean.
I hope things can get sorted for you.
Thank you very much. And, if it doesn't, I hope that we can come and talk to you again. So thanks so much for having us.
B, you're always welcome. Thanks so much. You take care. An LJMU spokesperson did say that the university's top priority is to protect the experience of our students, staff and visitors. We are operating business as usual and have put in place measures to minimise disruption for anyone on our campus on Friday the 16th of June, which of course is today. Right then.